Hi boos. Yes, it's Lachey Triel from Artistry Couture. So I am making a full wig on the sewing machine finally. This is a fully enclosed wig. So what I'm doing right here is I'm sectioning off the two parts. I have the hair going in two different directions. And this is a regular chalk marker. You get that from Walmart in the arts and crafts section. I'm going to go ahead and anchor down my cap so that it sticks to the blockhead. My client, she provided her own hair. This very, very beautiful gray curly hair. It is human hair blend. They came with 3 bundles and a really, really thin closure. And I combined all 3 of them, and I'll show you that a little bit later in the video. So now this is the bundles. And I had 4 packs of these, so I squeezed 4 packs of hair onto that cap. Of course, my first step in almost every wig that I do is for me to double the bundles. Now, with this one, the bundles were very short, so I just took 2 bundles. Every 2 bundles I sewed together. Instead of what I normally do is I just take the bundle and then sew it together, the one bundle. But like I said, this was a very, very short bundle, so I just took 2 and sewed them together because I needed the bundles. I needed the tracks to be a lot longer so that I could be able to cover more space. Now this is how it looks on the top side. This is how it looks on the back side. Very, very seamless. Now, if you haven't watched any of my videos, what I'm doing here is I'm pinning down the tracks. I pinned down all of my tracks because it helps keep the tracks in place. And that's with any cap, especially these. This cap, once it comes off of this head, it shrinks down. So me having the pins on there ensures that the track stays in the same space. Like, you see that space that's in there? Now, me running this through here, I'm going to eliminate that space, and it's also going to conform the cap to the blockhead while I'm doing this at the exact same time. I don't know why this always happens to me. My string is always coming out in the very beginning. I always have to fix it. Of course, I'm going in with my number 4 stitch. My number 4 stitch on my brother machine is a zigzag stitch. And don't be alarmed by my mannequin head. I have more coming in the mail. So, routine thing, pin down, sizing it to the cap. So that was the last one. That was the last piece of that first track. I was going to cut it, but I didn't want to, so I just sized it to the cap. Now when I'm running this through here, I do stretch the cap out. I don't overstretch it. I stretch it so that from one pin to another it's flat on the sewing machine, and that the track is flat, so that it doesn't cause any bulking. As you see, when I lay it back onto the mannequin head, it lays flat. Now if you don't do it that way, you will see bulking once you take it off of the sewing machine. Now see, that was the last track that I was speaking of, so I just went on ahead and just laid the last track on there. I usually like to try to keep them all in the same, I usually try to keep them all aligned. I don't know why I couldn't get that out. I usually try to keep them all aligned. But this one is a little bit hanging over the other one, and that's okay. It's the back of the wig. No one's going to be able to tell. So again, I make sure everything is flat. Of course, back stitching on the ends is very, very necessary to make sure that the tracks are 100% secured to the cap. If you do not backstitch, you are liable to have your tracks coming up. Now see how cute that was moving? So this is the back. So now I'm moving up on close to my line. I have enough room for about maybe 1 or 2 tracks to put in there. I'm gonna go ahead and fill that space in. Do try to pin my tracks down at literally every curve.
Man, you look at the sky. Oh, the stars, man, the stars beautiful tonight.
Girl, I need to start saran wrapping my blockheads again so that they don't look like this from all that hair dye. I usually saran wrap them. I got lazy one day and decided not to saran wrap that one and a couple other ones that I have. And they all pretty much look just exactly like that. So my next move right here is I'm done with laying the tracks that way. I am now going to lay them across the top of the head. This front part will be the top of the head. And I have about 2 bundles that I'm putting in here. So I put 4 bundles in the back, and I have 2 more bundles plus the closure to squeeze into there, or I'll say closures, because like I said, each pack came with a closure and I combined all of those closures. What you see me doing right here, I am sizing the last few of the tracks up to this part to make sure that I know where they're going to lay. I was also trying to make sure that I had enough because, like I said, these tracks were very, very short. And even though this looks like a small space, I was a little bit concerned that I didn't have enough hair, but I did. Everything came out perfectly fine. And like I said, I'm just going through and gliding the tracks through the sewing machine, making sure that I enclose this space. Now I'll show you guys exactly what I did with the closure. Like I said, I have 3 of these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sew down 2 of them first. And I probably did about 3 or 4 niches through the sewing machine back and forth with the number 1 stitch. I'm going to take the 3rd one, run that through there as well. Now running through the middle. Now it did come out of course a little bulky because it was like it's tracks on top of tracks. So you have 3 sets of tracks sewn together. And this worked really, really well with curly hair. I don't know how this would have worked if the hair was straight. Maybe I would have had to just use 2 if it was straight. But I'll show you guys how that look is really, really seamless. It doesn't look like I sewed It does not look like I sewed 3 closures together. It looks like it was already 1 closure. Like I said, I had to do this because they were like so thin. Like each closure is a third of this density, and it came out really poofy, and I love that. See that? You can barely tell. So what I did at the end is, like I said, I just went ahead and kept going and then closing it. When I got to the very middle, when I got to like a circular opening, I just went ahead and start circulating the hair around in a circle. And I wish I would have got that on camera, but my camera overheated. The last part to this is, of course, putting the closure down. So I make sure I'm moving the hair out of the way. There was a net, I don't know if you guys seen, on the bottom of those closures. So I'm just tagging that net down to the tracks that's on there on the top. And I got it on 3 sides. I only did 3 niches. So as you can see, the 3 spots that I did, and it was too much on my sewing machine for me to try to do the last one. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this last, knot it down by hand, pulling through the top, pull it through, knot that, and I'm making sure that I'm grabbing that net through this cap to further secure that down. And I probably knotted that maybe about 6 times. And here's the end. Like I said, here's the circular part, if you want to be able to go back and check that out. Now the hair did get a little frizzy from that very last part when I just had it through the sewing machine. So I'm just taking some curling spray and leave-in conditioner that I have in this leave-in conditioner bottle, spraying that on there and reworking the curls back around. Now, of course, I did not have to style this wig, but what I did go ahead and do is I clipped the front ends to shape it to her face so that the hair is not down dangling in her eyes, as she can see. And yes, she came out marvelous. She loved it. I loved it. You guys, thank you for watching. Go ahead and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Those links will be below. And subscribe so you don't miss any more tutorials. Bye.